Hello, Abraham. My question is, what is the difference between when you want someone to do something differently, so instead of asking them to do something differently, which is, everything that we've been taught not to do in order for you to be happy, what's the difference between asking them in your mind, I want, launch a rocket of desire. I want you to not ask me to change, versus actually asking that person, please don't ask me to change.
Want to talk about the details of it?
Well, yeah, a little bit. Things are going magnificent for me in my life. I have 2 beautiful children. I have a partner with a child as well that I, take care of as mine. And I have an ex-wife. And so we were coming on the cruise and we were getting ready to go. And my ex-wife brought my 2 kids, 6 and 10 years old, over. And before that, my daughter, who's 10, asked me, she's really involved with discussing your teachings and is really open to them, and wanted to know if she would be able to sit in and listen. And I said, I don't know. I said, that's nice of you to ask. It might be something that you can do. I'm not sure. And so then she discussed it with her mom, and her mom said to me, I absolutely do not want our daughter, sitting in here being preached to. And so there was all this resistance in that comment, and it kind of ruffled my feathers. And I instantly thought, well, what I do when it comes to things with the kids are trying to just empower them and trying to let them connect to their guidance system. And so if she wants to sit in there and do it, then that's her decision. And she said, she's perfect the way she is. She doesn't need any preaching, and I don't need any preaching from you either. And so in my mind, I said, well, what I don't want is for you to try to tell me what to do. I don't want you to tell me what I can and can't do. I'm just going to do what I want to do anyways, and you just need to trust that it's for the benefit of the kids when I'm taking care of them. But that was in my mind. I didn't speak those words. I actually just walked away from her and said that, what's going to happen is going to happen. And then I talked to my daughter later, and I said, hey, look, if you can be in there and you want to be in there, then you can be in there, because you can do whatever you want. That's what I've been teaching them for the last years, to connect to their inner guidance system. And you do whatever it is you want to do. And don't expect me to be the vortex of your happiness, because whether you're here or not, I'm happy. And I hope that you realize that whether I'm here or not, you can be happy too. And so even though your mom is telling you you can't be in there and don't listen to Abraham stuff and don't get preached to, I'm telling you, if that's what you want to do, you can do it, as long as you're with me. And so the question came, I'm kind of, in this conundrum of, well, do I tell her, my ex-wife, please don't tell me what to do, and please don't ask me to change so that you can be happy? Or do I just launch a rocket of desire that sees her through the eyes of Source, not asking me to change, and just see her in that aspect?
Well, when you think about it, you really don't have very much choice, because it just becomes such a tangled web. In other words, just in this brief scenario that you have described, there are so many dynamics about if you try to keep anyone happy. In other words, just the simple dynamics of what do? Do you go along with what your daughter is asking for, or do you go along with what her mother is asking for? In other words, you're in a no-win situation because you can't satisfy both of their requests at the same time, because they are pulling you in opposite directions. And so out of that blessed, and we mean that with everything that we are, out of that blessed contrasting experience experience is born a rocket of desire that says what? In other words, it's much bigger than whether your daughter attends this gathering and hears us preaching to her or not. In other words, it's much bigger than that. What is the rocket of desire that's born out of that? Or what rockets are even stronger than before? And everything that you said, we can feel the clarity of your being about it. In other words, so the rocket of desire that's born out of it, so many of them, layers and layers and layers of them. You want your daughter to feel her own power, and you're pleased that she knows about this and that she can come into alignment, and you want her to know that whether she comes into this gathering or not, the answers will always flow easily to her. You want her mother to understand that well-being is the experience of this daughter, and that she does not have to be protected from anything, that she is an attractor of well-being. And specifically about this person that you are no longer living with, there is some sense of satisfaction in acknowledging these are the differences that kept us from jiving to begin with. In other words, and so why would I expect, now that I'm on the outside of that relationship, for her to be any different than she was when I was on the inside of this relationship? In other words, that's just kind of where she's at right now, and nothing wrong with where she's at, because in that fearful place, and she is in a fearful, protective place, as all good mothers should be, is what society would say. She's in that fearful, protective place. Think of the rockets of desires that she's launching, and then say to yourself, so here is this mother who cares so much about this girl, who worries about the world and worries about bad influences and worries about things she doesn't understand, who is launching rockets of desire that are very pure in nature. She wants the well-being of her child. She wants her child to be influenced by the things that are most beneficial. In other words, think about the contribution that this mother is making to this vibrational escrow that this seminar even would satisfy. In other words, she's asking. It's so interesting that not just this woman, but so many of you, your life causes you to ask for things that when they're right in front of you, you shout no at them. Isn't that a remarkable acknowledgement that the very well-being that she wants for this child is available through this and many other paths, and yet she is so beating the drum of the question that she can't see this as a viable answer? And so then you say, but just because she doesn't see it doesn't mean that her daughter can't see it or that I can't see it. Yeah. So then doesn't it bring clarity to you? So to make her happy, should we all be as blind to the solutions that she's asking for as she is? Or wouldn't every level of her being really want us to move toward the solutions even though she can't see them?
Yeah, she would want us.
And of course you can't have that conversation with her. No. Because she's blind to the solution. She would be deaf to what you're saying about it.
Well, she told me, I don't want you to preach to me either. I mean, she.
Well, we would say,
all that.
if someone said that, if we were standing in your physical shoes and someone said that, we would say back to them, I don't blame you one bit, because I don't like that either. Yeah. And there are a lot of things that we haven't seen eye to eye on, and you've never been able to convince me, and I've never been able to convince you. But I want to focus upon the things that we're in harmony about, and there are so many. And then say, I don't want to preach to you, but I want to tell you that you're wonderful. And I don't want to preach to you, but I want to tell you I think you are a magnificent mother. And I love how you care about this girl. I love that. I love that you care about her, and I love the way you take care of her. I love so much. I love who she's becoming, and I credit you with such a big part of that. I'm so appreciative of who you are and of what you've given to me. And I stand in a better place having had the experience with you. And I would like to believe the same has happened to you. Yeah. I don't want to preach at you. I just want to let you know that I appreciate who you are.
Yeah, and I can feel that, how powerful that would be if I could have brought myself to that moment.
but don't beat up on. But you see, here's the thing that this seminar wants to say to you about that. Do not beat up on yourself that you were having a step 1 moment instead of a step 3 moment.
Right.
That's okay too. In other words, it's all right. She aggravated you. In other words, it's all right for you. But all that happened in there, all we did just now is reflect back to you what you put in vibrational escrow. It's easy for us to be there. We don't have to live with the aggravating, contrasting part.
Right.
You see. So give yourself a break in all of that. You see, you're doing extremely well.
Yeah, thank you. When I felt like I settled down a little bit, I took my daughter to the side and I said, I just want you to understand that I feel that that what just happened, or a half an hour ago between your mom and I, is really why we're not together. Is really the big difference between her and me, and it's not that she's right or wrong, and it's not that I'm right or wrong. It's just that she does things her way and I do things my way. And I just want to let you know that difference is that I feel that you know what's best for you more than I know what's best for you. And it seems to me like your mom feels that she thinks that she knows what's best for you more than you know what's best for you. And I think my daughter got that. I think she just said, okay, so I can make the decisions on my own.
Well, we want to say to you that we have never heard anyone put the whole of the message that we teach into context as clearly as you just did. That is the message.